My oven is ring ding ding a ding a dinging. So that means the 15 minutes are over and we're going to take that crust out of the oven and keep your fingers crossed. Let's turn off the ring a ding ding and let's get some pot holders. Turn off the oven as well. Oh yeah, that has to come out for sure. That has to come out. All right, we're gonna loosen that pan carefully. You don't want to get burned. Ow, hot. All righty, we're gonna need this shortly. So I'm gonna put it over here. And this has to come out and cool off. So I'm gonna use my cooling rack and be very careful and gentle to take it off because we've already had enough trouble. Ah, there you go. Ah, if you can believe it. This baby, if I don't break it now, is just pretty cool. Gosh, I'm so glad. It's almost a little bit dark. I hope you can see it. I'm gonna try not to hold it up so much. So I have it on my cooling rack. This is going to be the crust, the bottom. I'll set that aside because obviously that has to cool off now. While that is cooling off, don't mind me, our next step here is going to prepare the gelatin, or gelatin, I guess in English, Gelatine in German. And the recipe calls for 8 leaves of gelatin, which I don't have, so I'm going to use this powder. And I'm going to put the powder in here. It does say that for this recipe, oh my goodness, small print, I guess we're using 6 tablespoons of water. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, I'm going to use a different spoon here to stir it well. Stir that really well. Now, what it says in the recipe here is make sure the lumps are going to be nice and broken up. And then it says to put it in a water bath. Now, I don't know what the English word for that is, but it basically means we're going to heat a pot with water, and rather than putting this directly in the pot, we're going to put this bowl into the water. And as the water in the pot is heating, this gelatin should dissolve just very, very nicely. All right, we'll have to keep an eye on that a little bit. And of course, I made a mess again. But now for the most exciting part. Are you ready? There you go. We're using this big bowl. And now we are going to use our whipping cream or heavy cream. So in the recipe it calls for half a liter. Now half a liter is 500 milliliters. This has 473. So obviously we need a little bit more. So we're just gonna put that whole thing in there. And somewhere I have another one. My fridge is pretty full, so I shoved things in there, but there it is. So it's just shy of 500 milliliters, just shy of half a liter. So I'm just gonna crack this open, add a little bit more. One can never have enough heavy cream, is what I say. Let's always make sure, ooh, this is getting stiff. It's getting stiff already, doing its job, I think, I hope. So we got the whipping cream in here. On this part of the recipe, we're using 50 grams of sugar with the whipping cream. Usually it calls for powdered sugar. In this recipe, it's regular sugar. And 60 grams is half a cup. So I have half a cup here. If you can see it, I didn't fill it all the way. You just have to improvise. Okay, we'll put that in there. And while we are watching the gelatin, we're going to mix this. I think almost we'll mix it. And we'll put this on. Okay. So we're getting there with this. All right, this cream is pretty much ready to rock and roll. Use this again. So we are then using 3/4 of the blueberries, and I have mixed this again well. We brought 3/4 of the blueberries. That should be enough. We'll go into the whipping cream. All right, we're going to turn this here off. That should be sufficient at this point. Let's put our kettle on here. Yeah, that's pretty hot. So take it out. And I don't think, it doesn't specify here, but usually the stuff cannot be hot. Like anything can't be hot if it goes inside the whipping cream. But in the meantime, we can use, actually I should use a ladle, I think. It should be easier. Oh, there we go. I have a big, let's use this here. So we're serving about, I want to say, maybe a few more in here, about 1/4 of the blueberries. And the rest, look at this. This is just whipped cream, freshly whipped. There's nothing like freshly whipped cream. And while we're waiting for the gelatin to cool back down so that we're not going to destroy the whipped cream, the spring pan should now be cold. So I'm going to just wipe the spring pan, wipe it off. Wipe the bottom off and put it back in. And what the recipe says, yeah, we can move the mixer. We don't need that anymore. The recipe calls for the spring pan to be lined, the sides of the spring pan to be lined. How are we going to do that? Oh, you know what? I think we'll have to put that back in here first. That's right. And it went this way, so it has to go that way. The crust, it's not quite cooled off. So we'll have to let the crust cool off, and we'll have to let the gelatin cool off. So I wonder if I can put this in here first. Because it says to line the spring pan with aluminum foil, because we're going to build our cake in here. So most likely, you know what, I'm going to do this way around, actually. It's all not as easy as I thought it would be. But again, what in life is easy? So, you know, baking's just like life. Stuff happens and you make the best of it, and I'll just be back with you in a bit.